This is Jean Marie Ward for BuzzyMultimedia.com, reporting from the 2011 Nebula Awards weekend in Washington, D.C. With me today is John Scalzi, author of 7 novels, including Old Man's War, Fuzzy Nation, and creative consultant to the late lamented Stargate Universe, not to mention president of the Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers of America. Welcome, John.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't know whether to congratulate you on the deal for Old Man's War or commiserate with you on the death of Stargate Universe.
Yeah.
But dealing with Stargate Universe, I know this is something Buzzy's folks would be very interested in. What's it like being a creative consultant to a TV series? What does it entail?
Well, what it means is they send me the scripts, early versions of the scripts, and I go through them and I look for things that need help in terms of the science. I keep track of characters. In Stargate Universe in particular, I did little nitpicky things like every time they used a bullet, that was a bullet that they no longer had. And somebody had to keep track of those sorts of things because it was a ship far away. And so I did a lot of that stuff. The way I explain it to someone is science fiction fans will go to a convention and they'll go, in episode 4 you had this and that was clearly illogical. I get to be that guy before that guy gets to be that guy. And you say, hey, this is going to be a problem, you need to fix that. And so in many ways it was a lot of fun for me. I got to spend time looking at scripts, seeing how basically television got made, and it also gave me sort of insight on what it takes to put together what was actually a very good science fiction series. It's unfortunate that it only lasted 2 seasons because it was really good. But during its time, I thought it did a very good job.
Yeah, I would agree. I watched it quite a lot. Are you working on a similar arrangement for Old Man's War now that it's had a movie deal?
Well, what I told the people who are putting together Old Man's War is that anytime they want to pick my brain, they're certainly more than able to. You know, I'm more than happy to talk to them about what I was thinking when I was writing it, what I think about the characters, their motivations, so on and so forth. But one of the things that I think that you have to have as a writer and as a creative person is an understanding of where your own competencies lie. Like, for example, I write novels, and I'm good at writing novels, I think. I've never written a script, and I've never adapted one of my books into a movie. So in that case, I'm happy to let them take the lead. I mean, we have a very good screenwriter. His name is David Self. And so he knows what he's doing. He's adapted books before. He did The Road to Perdition, which was a very good movie. And so I'm kind of confident that they know what they're doing. And I've told them, you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, you know, we went with you guys because we trust you to do a good job.
With so much going on in your writing life and your blogging life, which we didn't even mention, whatever.com, what prompted you to reboot the Fuzzy franchise?
It was one of those intellectual exercises. I thought that it would be fun to take a classic golden age of science fiction story and apply a 21st century sensibility to it. Because while the stories are still good in themselves and they're very enjoyable in themselves, they're also a product of their era, you know, 50 years old, sorts of things. And so the way that a similar story would be written today would be different than it would have been written 50 years ago. So for me, that was really the challenge, was to just take one of these stories and sort of move it forward 50 years from the writing perspective. Fuzzy Nation was a good one to do it because, among other things, it was in the public domain, so you know there were no copyright issues involved. That said, once we were finished with it, we went to the Piper estate and said, this is what we've done. If you don't like it, we will put it in a hole and no one will ever see it. Because I originally didn't write it to sell it. I wrote it strictly for fun. And it was only afterwards that my agent said, hey, you know, I can sell this. I was like, okay, go sell it. And that's one of the reasons it's co-dedicated to him, because he actually managed to get it out in book form.
That's always wonderful.
Yes.
Is it good to be president?
It has been good to be president. Often people tell, you know, in this position, people have said, oh, you're president of SIPA, I'm sorry. And I haven't had that feeling about it at all. I mean, I've been blessed with a couple of things. The first is I have a really good board of directors. These are committed people. These are smart people. Everybody wants what's best for the organization and for its members, and so we all have that common ground. The other thing is that I think I have mostly speaking, I have the good faith of the membership. You know, they seem to want our board and the organization to succeed, and so they've been willing to let us do things at a good pace, and so I've actually enjoyed it quite a bit. To be clear, it's a lot of work, but it's been worth the effort and it's been worth the time.
What's next on your writing and organizational horizons?
Well, I just finished a novel which has gone into tour, which will hopefully be out in 2012. And the next thing I do, once this tour is done, because I'm in the middle of a tour, first I go home and I sort of recuperate for about a week or two. And then I start thinking about the next novel that will hopefully come out in 2013. Later on in the year, we'll have the Worldcon, where I will be at. And then after that, I'm going to go to Germany, actually, for 2 weeks as on a book tour that is in part hosted by the State Department.
Wow.
So I get to go out and show Germans what American authors are really like.
Scare them.
It should be interesting. It should be interesting.
Yeah, it will be, depending on where you go in Germany.
Yeah.
I lived there for a while,
Oh, okay.
so yeah. Anything you'd like to add?
I don't know. I think the thing that I mostly think these days, I've been on tour and I've gone basically all over the United States, and I've gotten to see fans, and they've been really happy to see me, and I've been enjoying myself telling them about the new novel and so on. Basically the way that I feel these days is that I'm just really lucky. When I was a kid, I wanted to grow up to be an author, so I got to be what I wanted to be when I grew up, and how many people get to say that?
And looks like our battery's running out too. At this point, where can your fans find you on the web?
At whatever.scalzi.com, or just type whatever into Google. It'll take you straight there.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.